Welcome to Dubai Marina, the most jaw-dropping real estate achievement on the planet. But here's the question nobody is asking out loud. What happens when the ocean decides it wants its land back? Stay with me, because what you're about to find out will completely change how you see this place. The engineering miracle nobody talks about. Let's start with something that sounds almost insane when you hear it for the first time. Dubai Marina does not sit on natural land. Every single tower, every skyscraper, every luxury condo, every five-star hotel is standing on ground that was pulled up from the bottom of the sea. That's not a metaphor. Engineers literally dredged millions of tons of sand from the ocean floor, dumped it along the coastline, compacted it, and then started building on top. Now, here's where it gets fascinating and a little terrifying, because sand that was under the ocean yesterday is not the same as bedrock that formed over millions of years. It's loose, it's salty, it's saturated with water, and it moves. So how do you build an 80-story skyscraper on it? You drill down deep. Each major tower in Dubai Marina relies on what engineers call deep pile foundations, concrete columns that are drilled anywhere from 40 to 56 meters straight down into the ground. We're not talking about a few of these. A single building can require hundreds of these concrete pillars, all anchored to reinforced slabs designed to spread the tower's enormous weight across a surface that, not long ago, was literally the seabed. Geotechnical engineers, the people who study what the ground is actually made of, have described Dubai Marina as a constant balancing act. Because beneath your feet in this district, there is no natural rock layer. What exists is a mixture of dredged fill, compacted sand, and marine silt, all of it absolutely saturated with salt water. And when you combine unstable ground with salt water and decades of time, things start to get complicated. The silent sinking, subsidence. There's a phenomenon that geologists call subsidence. It simply means the ground is slowly sinking. Now, in most cities, this isn't much of a concern, but in a city built on reclaimed land over a marine environment, subsidence becomes a genuine threat. Studies of similar land reclamation projects around the world have documented sinking rates of several centimeters per year. That might not sound like much, but for a 300-meter skyscraper, every single millimeter of uneven settling matters. If one side of a foundation sinks even slightly faster than the other, you're looking at structural stress that compounds over decades. And Dubai Marina's canal network, which looks absolutely gorgeous on Instagram, by the way, is not just decorative. It's a functional engineering system designed to regulate water flow and salinity levels, reducing the hydraulic pressure on the ground underneath the towers. But this network is operating under constant stress. The extreme desert heat, we're talking temperatures that exceed 45 degrees Celsius in summer, combined with high humidity and the relentless pressure of tidal movement, puts enormous strain on these systems every single day. Underneath each tower, the foundation is engaged in what engineers describe as a permanent, silent battle against saltwater intrusion and soil movement. And then there's the pumping. The entire district depends on a continuous network of pumps and hydraulic systems that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to manage water levels and prevent the ground from becoming destabilized. Think about that for a moment. Every hour of every day, machines are working nonstop to keep the ground solid enough to hold over 200 skyscrapers. What happens when those machines fail? We'll get to that, and trust me, it already happened once. Built too fast, the corrosion crisis. To understand what's happening inside Dubai Marina's towers today, you have to go back to how they were built. The construction happened at a speed that was genuinely unprecedented. Entire skyscrapers went from groundbreaking to finished in under 2 years. Think about what that means. Concrete was being poured around the clock under a sun that was pushing 45 degrees Celsius. Workers were building at a pace that left almost no room for error. And this is where one of the most dangerous problems began. One that's completely invisible from the outside. It's called chloride-induced corrosion. Here's how it works. Inside every concrete structure, there are steel reinforcing bars, called rebar, that give the building its strength and flexibility. The concrete around the rebar is supposed to protect it from moisture and air. But in Dubai's coastal environment, the air carries microscopic chloride particles from the Gulf. These chloride ions are incredibly small enough to penetrate even high-quality concrete through microscopic cracks that are invisible to the human eye. Once inside, they reach the steel rebar, and they trigger a chemical reaction, rust. But this isn't regular surface rust. This is internal rust that expands as it grows, slowly cracking the concrete from the inside out. Engineers describe it as a disease that eats a building from the inside, while the outside still looks perfectly fine. Now, laboratory studies have confirmed that in Gulf coastal environments, corrosion rates can run up to 3 times faster than in inland cities. 3 times faster. The rush to build meant that optimal concrete curing times were sometimes cut short. Advanced protective admixtures that could have slowed saltwater penetration were, in some cases, skipped entirely. And here's the part that should keep every property owner in Dubai Marina up at night. It's already showing. Maintenance records from some of the district's earliest towers, built in the early 2000s, are raising serious red flags. Reports of water infiltration in basement structures, load-bearing walls showing signs of moisture damage, parking slabs that are literally crumbling in pieces. This phenomenon has a name: premature spalling, and it means the water has already won the first battle. The facade is lying to you. Here's something most people visiting Dubai Marina would never notice. Look closely at the older towers. Look at the concrete columns near the waterline. You'll see it. Faint brown streaks running down the surface. That's rust. Not from the surface, but from the steel rebar corroding deep inside the concrete and bleeding through. Those streaks are the building telling you something is wrong on the inside. The facade sealants, the specialized coatings designed to protect the exterior of these buildings from moisture, were engineered to last around 10 years. But many of them are failing in 5. Why? Dubai has one of the most brutal thermal cycles on Earth. During the day, surfaces heat up to extreme temperatures. At night, they cool rapidly. This expansion and contraction, happening every single day, 365 days a year, creates microfractures in the facade material, hairline cracks that widen slightly with each passing summer. And once a crack opens up, even a crack you can't see without a magnifying glass, the humid Gulf air floods in, carrying its invisible cargo of chloride particles. The cycle becomes self-reinforcing. More cracks mean more moisture infiltration. More moisture means faster corrosion. Faster corrosion means more structural expansion inside the concrete, which creates more cracks. As these towers cross the 20-year mark, the price of building at maximum speed in a maximum stress environment is becoming impossible to ignore. And it's not just about appearance. It's about cost. Keeping the concrete, the elevators, and the cooling systems safe and functional is becoming exponentially more expensive with every year that passes.